13 years ago, a friend and I wrote this book, If You Could Ask God One Question. In it, we tried to address the top questions that people asked when they were investigating Christianity. Here we are now in the middle of this pandemic, this coronavirus problem, and I'm finding that lots of people are asking questions again, perhaps questions they've asked in the past, revisiting them, or maybe asking questions for the first time. And so over the next few weeks, I'm going to record a 3 or 4 minute introduction to the questions, the top questions that people tend to ask that are addressed in this book. And the first question is this one here. If you're really there, God, why don't you prove it? Well, look, here we are. There are 3 reasons why Christians believe that God has proved his existence. The first comes in creation. When we look at what he has made, we're able to say, there we are. Just look, where do you think all that comes from? The second is in the Bible. As we read the Bible, Christians believe that God has revealed himself, has spoken to us through the words of the Bible. But the third reason is the crucial reason. Christians believe that when Jesus came to this earth, he came as God, revealing himself so that we really know that God exists. Look, I have a friend who's an architect. Just imagine that I could take you to my friend's house, the house that he built, and there you could go and meet my friend. Just imagine walking towards the house. It's an amazing house. And as you get close to it, we see on the front a little sticker on the front door. And the sticker's saying, oh, come in, Paul. The key's under the doormat. Let yourself in. I've just had to pop out for a moment. So we go into the house. And I tell you that he built this house. And you see from looking around the house how amazing my friend is as an architect. What he's built is absolutely spectacular. As we go into the kitchen, there's another note that he's written, and it says, help yourself to everything in the fridge. It's really nice to have you around. I won't be long before I'm back. As we begin to read the notes, you not only know that he's an amazing architect and an amazing creator because of what he's made, but you begin to discover that he's really kind, that he's generous, he's offering all his things to us while we're there. But of course, even though you can tell a lot about my architect friend from what he's made and from the notes he's written, the best way you'll ever discover what he's like is when he finally gets back from his trip out to the shops and walks in through the door and says, hello, I'm John. Then you've met him and you really know what he's like. Now that's a little illustration of what Christians believe. We can tell what God's like from looking around at what he's made. We can tell what God's like from looking at what he's written in the Bible. But we can tell supremely what he's like from looking at him when he walked into earth and said, here I am, in the person of the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, why would we believe that Jesus is God? Well, have a look at the things that he did. Firstly, he claimed to be God, but he did things to back up that claim. You see, anybody can walk around the earth and say, I'm God. In fact, people have done that in the past, and we've usually thought there's something wrong with them. But the difference with Jesus is that he actually lived it. He actually did things to prove that he was God. So there's all the miracles that are written in the Bible about him. He turned water into wine. He walked across the water. He healed people. He raised a dead man from the grave. He did remarkable miracles, and all in the presence of other people. And so you see, the miracles prove that he was God. You see, if someone were to walk in right now and were to stand next to me and say, I'm God, I'd say, prove it. And if they couldn't do anything to prove it, I wouldn't believe that they were God. Jesus walked onto the earth. He said, I'm God. And then he did things to prove it. Of course, at this point, some people say to me, it's all the miracles. That's what I can't believe. But I want to gently say to them, if they said that to me, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, look, I want some proof, I want evidence that God exists. And then when he comes and walks among us and actually gives us evidence, you can't then say, oh, I don't like the evidence. You can't have it both ways. So here we are. This is why Christians believe that God exists, not only because of creation, not only because he's revealed himself in the Bible and spoken words to us, but supremely because God in Jesus walked among us and proved that he does indeed exist. Now, that's just a quick introduction to why Christians believe God exists. But if you want to know more, then you can get this book free from the Good Book Company, who are the publishers of this book. They've made it as a free ebook download all the way up until June. If you go to their website, the Good Book Company, then you'll be able to get a copy of this and you'll be able to read some more. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. I'll do the second chapter very shortly.